Stanford. And the only thing I could think about is maybe he's sick of these cold winters in New York, wants to have a nice temperate winter in Stanford, Palo Alto, beautiful. Maybe get a little nice beach home, something like that. That's all I could think of.
Yeah, to me, I don't I feel the same way. But there was like a team meeting that talked about this. They didn't want the team to find out via, I guess, like the internet, that because it was obviously going to get out. News or a rumor of that magnitude was going to get out and get back to the team. So the team knows that this happened. I think when I think about it, I'm like, this doesn't make sense to me. One, Rob Cole's like 58 years old. Are you really gonna? Not that Stanford's starting over, but you're literally leaving maybe one of the probably 3 or 4 best Cornell teams you've ever had, if you were to go. Maybe it's just something as simple as parlaying it to, hey, I'll hear them out just because it's a good opportunity potentially, but maybe you just turn into a raise or something for yourself. That would not be an uncommon tactic. But I think he does have some ties to the or has some relationship that ties to Stanford, and I'm certain that compensation would be a factor. But I felt the same way. I'm like, that doesn't make sense for him to do, but I'm certain that it's being considered.
Yeah, I mean the compensation couldn't be that much. It would have to be so much greater because the cost of living in Palo Alto versus the cost of living in New York is probably, I don't know, 3 to 5x or something like that. Pretty crazy.
Both states love taxes. They can't get enough of them.
Well, that is true. Okay, the other. This is probably just shenanigans, Christian, but you never know. What if Rob Cole wanted to go to another elite academic institution because he knew Cornell wasn't going to let all of his guys wrestle after they graduate, so they're all going to go to Stanford once they graduate with a couple years of eligibility left?
Well, I guess that to me is very short-term thinking. It's like, all right, let me make this move so that I can get these guys on their last year. Like, I can't imagine.
And then go back to Cornell after you win a title at Stanford.
Stanford. That is
snip, snap, snip, snap.
That is the ultimate snip, snap, long con. That maybe is a thing, but I don't think that would factor in. To me, the domino it would set up is interesting because what happens at Cornell? What would happen to that position? What would happen with their recruits? Who would be the new head man there? Right? Would Coach Gray go with Cole to Stanford? Would he get the head coaching job? I mean, there's going to be a lot of people that throw their hat in the ring for the Cornell position if it were to open up. Now, none of this is all hypothetical because Rob Cole's the head coach at Cornell, not Stanford, but he is interviewing or has interviewed.
So can we get a comment from Rob Cole? Because I feel like when maybe football coaches would do this, they would have to go on ESPN and explain themselves. Could we get a Rob Cole comment?
I don't think that would be.
No.
I don't think that would be the case.
Really?
Normally they would try to keep it under wraps as much as possible, and they wouldn't talk to the media until they made their decision.
Okay. I don't see it happening. It seems like Rob Cole's a mainstay. I mean, honestly, it's probably something where he's going to retire in the next, I don't know, 3 to 5 years or something, and leave Cornell in really good hands.
I always assumed he would go a little while until Dake was ready to take over and be the next head coach. But maybe I don't know if that's Dake's career aspiration or not.
Doesn't feel like it. Doesn't feel like he ever talks about it or anything.
No, but I know the feeling was, I don't know, some years ago that like this would eventually be Dake's job.
Yeah.
So
I remember that.
But you have to figure Dake will be going through 24 at minimum, right? So that would be but it'd be a shockwave sending move, one of the bigger coaching moves the last couple of years, and Rob has done such a great job at Cornell, and Cornell is in such a unique position. I mean, call it what it is, largely and primarily because of his leadership, right? Cornell just doesn't become is not just become what it is without him. So it'd be a big move, and I think on the other thing I was thinking about, like why it doesn't make sense is like, Rob, the status of Cornell wrestling. It's in a great position. These jokers at Stanford, they're still jokers. They just got
Yes.
berated by
Well, I told you my theory this morning.
JD's got a long con theory.
Yeah, long con
Uh-oh.
theory. So
Let's hear
it.
Stanford
go.
goes, we're going to cut these 11 programs. They get all these rich donors that say, I'm going to pledge all this money. I'm going to donate all this money. And they do that just so they get that donor money. They get those millions and millions of dollars, and then they take over the Olympic sports with all those new millions of dollars. That's how they're getting Rob Cole. They're saying, hey, Rob, here's your millions of dollars.
Robbie, it worked.
Yeah.
Can you believe it? We did this.
And then they just take over.
So,
They take a
did
hit
they keep?
with the reputation
Okay.
for like a year, but it works out in the long run.
They stockpile cash.
2 questions. Did all the other programs raise as much money as wrestling? I think wrestling was number 1.
do not
but
believe
if
so.
The other one,
No way.
okay.
I
Did
believe
they raise
wrestling was at the
something, though?
forefront.
Did they
I think
raise,
some
like-
programs really just kind of like folded.
They're like, yeah, okay, bye.
And then, well, the question 2 is like, of the money they did raise, do they actually get to keep it?
I am not.
Are they
certain.
keeping the wrestling fundraising?
I am not certain like how much was actually donated, how much was just promised, how much of that will stick around once they said
Yeah.
we'll come back. I don't know.
Yeah, so, yeah, I mean, so that was the other thing. You know, you go to a institution that just tried to drop it, a school that, you know, as Bracky was talking about, had, you know, all this academic issue, not academic issues, but the issues with their department and leadership and getting all these kids into the school that shouldn't have been in the school. So with all that factored in, it's like, man, he would have to have some level of assurance, and he would have a good idea of how to get that and understanding of like, hey, how safe is the program? And I know talking with Coach Blake, he feels really strong about the security of the program, and also, you know, they're going to work to endow it. So who knows? It's certainly an interesting development, and at least fun to speculate about. Whether it happens or doesn't happen is, you know, to be determined. But definitely a
So
notable thing.
why is, I mean, you also can Ray Blake's unlikely. Why is he not getting a job? That kind of sucks, obviously, because you know, he was one of the guys leading for it to stick around, and he made it happen. Now he doesn't get to reap any fruits from the or rewards from the efforts.
Well, true. I think he knew that going in, and I think Ray and Coach Tirapelli and Borelli for the time knew. Well, especially once Borelli left, I think they knew that, hey, man, even if we bring it back, we may not be the long-term solution here, but it's worth it, and we want to restore the program. And even if they don't retain their jobs, bringing back the program, they always viewed it as worth it. And I think, you know, part of the deal with getting the program back was, I mean, you had to call out the incompetence of your boss, right? And your administration and make enemies, and you didn't wear Stanford apparel. You wore all black. So that's going to the administration is going to feel a certain kind of way about that, and about them, and about Ray and Coach Tirapelli for that kind of a thing. So, you know, that's going to make it tougher for you to be retained, even though they were doing the right things and the administration was doing the clearly very wrong and misguided thing. That's sort of irrelevant.
Yeah. Dang. Yeah, I mean, it sucks. Hopefully he finds a good home, because
I feel like
they did a lot of work there.
They absolutely did. I feel like for Coach Tirapelli and Coach Blake, like, they'll be fantastic pickups wherever they wind up, if they don't end up staying at Stanford, which at this point is not a sure thing, not certain, but it's not surprising that they would be having a harder time, just given what they went through to keep the program.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. What's going on in the Ben Askren world? What are you doing, man? What's new?
We got camp this weekend, 9:30 a.m. Saturday. Want to come up?
Dude, I do. I really do. Bring Caleb, bring Natalie.
No, we canceled Sunday, Monday practice because of Memorial Day, so we wanted to make you know, all of our guys who are having serious competitions, we wanted to hold a little camp Saturday morning, so we're doing that. And
It's Memorial Day this weekend?
Stop.
what?
Oh, snap it. I'm getting lit this weekend. You coming out, CP?
Were you getting bottle service already?
No, that's only for my birthday. That's my birthday, July 10th. Everybody's invited. Yeah, I didn't know it was Memorial Day this weekend. That's awesome.
Wow.
Summer started. Summer's here, guys.
Well, you make sure you thank
Summer's
JMZ,
here.
American Hero.
Oh, I got to
That's
text
right.
him right now.
Yeah.
You gotta do the Murph. Ollie, actually, you have to do the Murph with Christian on Monday.
I'll do it. What you say that like I can't do it?
Yeah, just go. So
All
you're
right,
gonna
let's
show
go.
up, right?
All right, I probably
Let's
won't do
go.
it, but
I bet JD would crush a Murph.
Oh yeah, I will be in the beach.
Oh, yeah.
Unfortunately,
Oh,
so I
yeah.
can't own you.
And they don't
I say
have-
we do a Murph every lap. Beer, chug a beer. We make it a little harder.
Oh.
That would be, and if we're assuming a 400, that's 4 laps at the beginning and end. So that's a Murph with 8 beers.
That's
That'd be
terrible.
terrible.
I would
Let's
never-
do it.
Terrible.
I would never do that.
That'd be
I wouldn't
very
even do
bad
that with a
outcome.
If
sparkling
you get
water.
me to come out do the Murph, you have to chug a beer after each lap.
Didn't you guys
Then I
used
refuse.
to host? Didn't you
Beer
guys used to
mile.
host? Not Beer Mile doesn't say that happened, right?
Yeah, Joe Flo did it, or did it like a leg up. They did a relay, I think.
Uh huh.
You got to run with the beer in your hand.
No, you chug it and then you run a lap, and then you chug a beer and you run a lap.
God, that sounds so terrible.
Yeah,
A lot of puke.
there's some people did it like really, really fast. Like I don't know, in the 4-minute range. I'm pretty sure. I don't know
Yeah.
what the
That's
So
gross.
crazy.
yeah,
Honestly, it's gross if you could do that much physical activity and that much drinking and not throw up.
yeah, definitely disgusting.
But shout out to y'all.
Shout out to them. Hey, make sure you're you're on FloWrestling right now in some way, so thank you. But check out the homepage. Mike, Mal, and Bader are on the ground at Pan-Ams, Guatemala
cool stuff.
City. A lot of cool
Oh, yeah, I saw
stuff.
some pictures.
Yeah, check out. There's a cool little piece of Kyle Snyder and Gable, and Mike talking with Gable about training with Kyle, how much has changed there. There's my favorite video so far is the Dake Stance in Motion movement video where Dake thinks about movement in a really different way than he's
Thinks
talking
about everything in a
Yeah, truly.
Yeah, that could apply to everything.
That can apply to everything. But, stance in motion is just something we just think is very wrestling specific. And he's talking about how he watches boxers and how he, watches running. He was talking about, like, Barry Sanders, watching him. So he can definitely.
Barry Sanders can move, bro. That guy can move.
Crazy.
Fair football
He could,
player of all
like-
time.
Yeah, I feel like. Yeah, he's the most impressive running back I think I've ever seen.
Yes, absolutely,
Definitely
absolutely.
very fun to watch.
I feel like it's one of the
from a skill
few
perspective.
football players that Ben actually remembers, and that's why he's going with it. Are you a big football guy, Ben?
He was no, I'm not. But I don't watch any football anymore. I was a huge Packers fan, and I played some fantasy football when I was a youth. And so, I think Barry Sanders. I think that was the mid to late '90s. So I think I had him on my team like every single year or something.
Man, it's pretty early fantasy
I was gonna
football.
say, I feel like I don't buy it. You're like one of the first.
What do you want me to do? I'm just telling you lies about playing fantasy. No, I play fantasy football. I was in a group of like 8 or 12
You're like a
kids my
pioneer.
age. Well, I think it was like one of their dads played, and they said, "Hey,
Yeah.
let's do this." And I said, "Cool." At that time, I watched a lot of football and baseball, so I said, "Sure, I'm in. Let's do it."
Yeah, fantasy's great.
Yeah.
No,
Hey, so I was reading some comments on Dake though. People were roasting him for for just being Kyle. Most people who come up with new stuff, they kind of get roasted in the beginning though. And listen, I don't know. I said I don't know enough about nutrition to determine whether the processes he's doing are valid or not. But I do know Kyle Dake is a very intelligent human being, and he's putting a lot of time into this. So there could be something to it for sure.
yeah, I think.
Well, there's clearly something to it. I mean, look
Yeah,
at what
look
he
at him.
does.
That's a good point.
Like that speaks for itself.
You could also say that I guess the counter is like, hey man, he was really good before then too, right?
Yeah.
He's always been at a different level, but how much of it is just like the fact that he believes it is,
Placebo.
yeah, even if it's not placebo or not, the fact that he really thinks it's a huge differentiator for him is notable, right?
Well, and we're gonna find out because what he's pushing in all this stuff is that it's making him younger, which that's not funny to say, but I think what he's pushing is that it's keeping him healthy and he's gonna be able to stay around a very long time. So we're gonna be able to witness that. Is Kyle Dake gonna be able to stay around till his early to mid 30s and keep wrestling at a really high level? Because that would.
I mean,
be
he's
incredibly
been
impressive.
healthier the past 4 years than he was the 4 years before that.
That's
Yeah.
true. I mean, but think about what the the tenets are. I mean, what of it doesn't make some level of sense?
Well,
Like,
he doesn't really tell you the whole thing. Even like remember I said I got inquisitive and I started asking him, and he's like, "Well, I'm not gonna tell you everything. I can't tell you everything. But go look here, or go look there, or read this or read that. Stuff like that. So he won't give you like a clear outline of exactly what he does. He'll just say like, "Oh, I read this guy or that guy, or I watched this video, stuff like that."
yeah, that's what's why do you think he wouldn't disclose that? Do you think it's just like it's his edge?
Yeah, probably.
Like a
and
Kale-
some people,
like a
I mean,
Kale
even
thing?
yeah, like a Kale thing. That would be it. Because even like if Kale were to say exactly what they're doing, it's almost impossible to replicate. Which I'm sure, even if Kyle Dake were to tell us what he's doing, it's probably almost impossible to replicate exactly what it is. Yeah, so that's it. And who knows? Maybe once it's all done, then he can come back and write a book about it or something. I'd read it.
Heck yeah, I'd read it. I'd buy it.
Yeah.
I'd push it on this show. It'd be great.
Mhm.
Man, Ben, it really throws me off when I see the freaking hammer and sickle on your sleeve. My communist
Where's
Ben. Yeah. What
Oh
the heck?
yeah,
man?
there we go. The Drago shirt.
Oh man. I wish it was the AC/DC one for once. Yeah, I mean, think about some of the tenets, the things he talks about. It's like, all right, well, he spends a lot of time outside in the sun. I feel like that's a really good thing. He's really conscientious about what he eats and like puts in his body. That makes a lot of sense. What I don't understand and don't dispute, but like I don't understand the movement aspect, the functional patterns. I don't understand He's tried to explain it, and he explains it in some of the videos even we've done with him, but it's just it's beyond my understanding.
Yeah, that's the one I don't really understand all that much. I mean, the one thing I would say if I could go back and like to my earlier self, especially when I was maybe out of college and started MMA career, is like there was still a lot of lifting heavy, and man, I feel like I had this wrist issue where like I can't I can barely do a push up because I have some wrist pain, and I remember exactly what that's from. It's from doing effing hand cleans too heavy. And it's like, that's stupid. And so that kind of stuff, and you're young and you're like, I don't care. I just want to lift some freaking heavy weight and get jacked. Right? That's what you think. And you don't even think about it. Yeah, absolutely. But now, so for a longevity perspective, I would have been like, Ben, you don't need to lift this much weight. Like, it's just not necessary. Like, maybe do more reps or do something else, right? But it's just not necessary to lift these uber heavy weights just to try to get them higher than they were before.
Man, I would like to see a sit down with Kyle Dake and Kyle Snyder, because Kyle Dake Kyle Snyder, he loves to lift so freaking heavy, and he's a freaking two-time World Olympic
He's
champion.
Still young though. He's still like 20, 24, 25. It will be it'd be interesting to see how his body holds up, because like I said, I mentioned one thing right there with my wrist, and there's a couple other things where it's just like I can literally tie it to lifting too heavy because I'm a dum-dum. And I probably if I could go back, I would have done that, because then I wouldn't have so many aches and pains. So the other one, if you guys ever watched this, I mean, this is super sad. Have you watched the Ronnie Coleman documentary?
No, I want to, but then I don't want to be sad.
It's awful.
Yeah,
it's
you
so
can barely
sad.
All
move.
right, I'm not watching it. F it.
And he was a freaking maniac, and he lifted so many heavy weights. And
but
I think
he was lifting like absurd weights, not like even
correct
by Kyle Snyder measures. It
Yes, but so you take it to the utmost extreme, right? This is the
right.
Ronnie Coleman would be the furthest extreme, and obviously
plus mixing some steroid use and stuff like that.
Dude was on all the stuff, and your muscles grow beyond what your joints can handle, right?
Yeah, well, and he's had like 9 spine surgeries, something totally insane, just because he overloaded too much weight. So he does. I mean, man, it looks, watch the documentary. It's tough.
Man, I don't know if I can. I think there is something to that, to not, lifting super heavy or whatever. I know. Yeah, I think it makes a difference. I think it.
The one thing that interests me, I know Ben, you mentioned it. He said no yoga. Like, I thought yoga was
that
like this,
one was
like
interesting. Yeah,
like especially and would like fit right in with something like that, like not lifting super heavy, not being too hard on your body, training smart or whatever. But apparently yoga is bad.
What's his beef?
Yoga, stretching. Well, remember when he came on and
it was stretching. It was stretching.
Yelled at
like
JB.
stretching.
Yeah.
Team no stretch.
Yeah, I tried asking him questions about that, and then like I said, I watched some functional patterns videos, and there wasn't really any super clear. And I feel like I watched like 10 hours. I never got a super clear answer on why no stretching, unfortunately. And I can tell you, I don't do as much. But before my hip surgery, I was in so much pain from that I was doing yoga once or twice a week. And if I didn't do it, if I missed it because I was traveling or whatever, like I would feel like crap. And so I can tell you for me, it helped me stay healthy and competitive and on the mat longer. Yeah.
So you're pro stretching.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I looked into it because I was very curious. Because I'm like, well, shit, I stretch a lot, and if I think Kyle Dick's a very intelligent human being, and if he's saying don't stretch, I'm very interested as to why. And I don't think I ever got a really clear answer from watching all this stuff.
I don't like a lot of absolute. I don't think there should be a ton of absolutes. Like, I don't think lifting weights is bad, but
Lifting a lot of weights.
But there's like a continuum for all this stuff.
Everything in moderation.
Yeah. Maybe not even in moderation, but like I just would not any absolute like do not stretch. Like I'm like, well, really? Do not?
Probably some stretches are
Probably
probably
some stretches are okay, right? Like I could see it from a nutritional standpoint. I could see like, yeah, do not eat a bag of potato chips. Like there's no like counter to why you should eat potato chips, right? Other than they taste good and it
makes me happy.
Makes me happy and they're delicious. But like from a like athletic standpoint, yeah, sure. But like I think there are some things like where absolutes are almost a red flag, right?
Yeah. Agreed.
Okay.
Someday we'll get the Kyle Dick book and we'll be able to break it down a little more.
Yeah. What's the title of Kyle Dick's book?
Younger Every Day.
The Kyle Dick story.
Well, he actually does have that documentary that's going to come out eventually.
After the
we've been hearing about that for years. I don't believe it's ever come out.
Well, no, he mentioned it again in one of his interviews with Bader. I forget exactly what Bader asked him, and he's like, "Well, you can watch about it in the documentary."
Yeah,
but that's been happening. I feel like he's been talking about
since college
for like years. Okay, yeah, for a very long time.
They're gonna have a lot of footage to look through.
It's gonna be an editing process.
Maybe it's like The Last Dance type of deal. Where we're gonna have like
10 parts.
10 hours of footage spanning years and years and years.
So we won't actually get it for like 30 years, is what you're saying.
Well, if it took this long to shoot it, like you guys were saying, imagine going through the footage and editing now. You know, this is only step one.
Dude, I just keep rewatching The Last Dance. It gets me so pumped. I don't know why.
Really?
Yes.
No, it is pretty awesome.
It
does get me jazzed.
It inspires me. Yeah, I love it. And I'm not like I was not like definitely liked watching Jordan, but I was never like huge Jordan guy. He's the GOAT type of deal. I was like, yeah, he's probably the best.
Who's the guy Jordan buried like at practice that was on the Bulls that couldn't take it?
Oh, that young
one pick or whatever.
Oh, Kwame Brown.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Don't play with Kwame.
Yeah, he went on. Didn't he go on social media like last week and just wrecked a bunch of people?
He was ranting.
Yeah.
Hardcore.
I can't believe Ben knows who Kwame Brown is. That is.
I saw. You know what? I just saw this on Twitter. That's
yep. I had a feeling.
Yeah. Kwame was he was a number 1 overall pick straight out of high school, and he was 13 years in the league, but he certainly was not.
That's what he was saying on Twitter. Like, I made all this money, so suck it.
Yeah, I mean,
and he went after somebody's wife too.
All right.
What? JD's bringing out all this kind of stuff from the Kwame class.
Because like some dude, I forget who it was, and some dude's wife left him for another person, and that guy made fun of him for not being able to take in the league, and he's like, yeah, well, your wife made a choice or something.
Wow. All right.
Whoa. The belt with Kwame Brown.
Then he went after Stephen A. Smith.
Well, Stephen A. Smith,
he deserves it.
See, it's interesting because like this may be pertinent, and we can maybe tie this back to wrestling, but like Stephen A. called him a scrub, like consistently. He's like, he's a total scrub. He's a scrub. This is not good. Like he made it like almost like how we hammered the Edge wrestling rules. He hammered Kwame Brown, NBA player, is is a total scrub.
And then Stephen A. just completely backed down from his take after Kwame went after him. He was like, "Yeah, I shouldn't have said that."
Apparently, Kwame Brown just like and his brother just like beat up entire clubs of people.
Yes.
So like
People don't want to smoke with Kwame.
But it is interesting. Like think about that. I mean, because in Stephen A.'s perspective, he's like, well, relative to other NBA players or whatever, I guess he's saying.
Relative to other number 1 draft picks right out of high school, a la LeBron, Kobe, etc., etc.
Yeah, he's a scrub. But like, you know, he's literally in the league for 13 years. What would be the equivalent in of us to say? It'd be pretty preposterous.
It's like when someone calls like an All-American like a flake if they were the number 1 high school recruit.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah, even calling someone a bust is interesting. But yeah, calling someone a scrub is.
I feel like
other than yourself, which I think I've referred to myself as a scrub frequently.
That's Stephen A.
So I feel like.
Yeah.
So I don't know basketball, but this is just my take on the situation. If he stayed in the league 13 years, there had to be some really good qualities about him. Because if there wasn't, then 13 years is just too long. They would have got rid of him way before that. So there's something good about him. So could it just be possibly people overrated his ceiling coming out of high school?
Yeah, it's exactly what it is.
Of course.
It's so absurd to live up to those expectations.
Yeah, I mean, it's
And when you are famously the man Michael Jordan clowned, that's like that just becomes your whole reputation.
Yeah.
Like if he would have gone to a different team and just had a very average career, he's not Kwame Brown.
Yeah,
like,
without
you don't really hear
that
him.
one
He's
story.
an average NBA player. But then you hear this story of Michael Jordan just mentally tearing into this kid and him not being able to take it, and it's like, then he becomes famous.
And I like how that they like held that against him. Like most high school kids would be able to take a mental beating from the greatest basketball player alive.
And
Michael Jordan was
How can't you handle this? So
yeah, it's like, oh, Kwame's so soft. It's like, well, the greatest ever who punched listen, for all of Jordan's great. Well, like he was not the best teammate at times. Sometimes he stepped over the line.
Not at all.
I mean, he punched people in the face. Like,
well, sometimes you gotta punch people, man.
I don't think sometimes you sometimes you have to punch people. Not
Weren't
in
you gonna tie this back to wrestling somehow?
I was gonna say that I had to punch people when I was captain of Long Beach High School wrestling team, and we had to get that county title. So sometimes you got to punch some kids.
Who did you punch?
Who did you punch? You didn't punch nobody.
Nick Corey, Mike Ferraglio, they were jogging very slowly during the team run. Maybe not punches, but boom, double back of the head smacks like this. Whap!
Man, I'd rather get punched.
They were both pissed at me.
How many? Hey Ben, back in the Missouri days, that was probably a very intense room. How many fisticuffs would there be?
Handful. I think that the best one ever was one time Dante Stone and Jeff Faust started fighting, and usually people run over, break them up, and someone stepped in that direction, and then Coach Horton was like, nope, at least they're going hard. They're finally going hard. Let them fight. and then they just stopped fighting, and started wrestling again.
I remember watching. Man, I'm sure it's still on the site. Watching we were there for like an ODU practice. This is way before I worked even at Flow, but they're at ODU practice, and I remember they were just like guys getting in fights, and you just hear. They're hand fighting hard, and the club, Lisa the club, and then they're standing up, and you just hear Martin just say, like after they maybe throw a punch or something, he's like, keep it open fist, keep it open fist. That's all he said. Like no punches, but keep it open fist. I was like, oh my gosh, that was like my first
fair rule.
That was my first glimpse into like Division I wrestling and what like just the intensity that it is. I don't think that's like what it's like everywhere necessarily. But yeah, I remember it was like in a practice once at Gap, and like you just look over and these like my 6-pounder was on top of like our 120-pounder. Boom, 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 boom. I was like, ah! Like, what are y'all doing? But like you're secretly like you kind of love it because like they're just so intense. No one was really getting hurt. But
have you ever had a kid who did the hand raise and he was piss punch? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the end of the match, somebody gets a hand raise, and then they get punched?
No.
I've seen that happen quite a few times on the island.
Hand raise in a fight?
So, like, they're pissed at each other, they wait, one person's hand gets raised, and then it's, like, maybe when they go to shake hands or something, but I've seen, like, mid-hand raise and, like, post-hand raise, boom, snuffing.
Dang.
Yeah.
No, none of that. I'm sure Ben's almost induced some of those on some of his hand raises.
I would have punched Ben.
I can't believe I don't remember anyone trying to punch me.
I would have punched you so
Not at
hard.
all.
Ollie, you're lucky Ollie never got a hold of you.
I'll hand fight Ollie. I'll make him quit in 2 minutes. No problem.
All right, I probably won't win, but I won't quit.
You probably won't win.
I probably won't win. I'm not counting myself out.
Love that confidence.
I love
Honestly, I
that.
haven't seen Ben hand fight in years, so he could be rusty. And also, I'll quit at 2 minutes and 1 second just to make it.
That's gonna be a long 2 minutes.
There's no way you can make me quit just hand fighting. If we can do real moves, you can obviously make me quit. But
All right, so we have
hand fighting's way easier to make someone quit because they can't actually do real moves. Like if they do real moves, they can like dive in on a leg and act like they're doing something, and then
You
land.
just have to take the abuse.
yeah, I just have to take abuse.
Yeah, hand fighting, you just gotta get your ass kicked for 2 minutes.
That's so easy.
I had like
It's so easy just getting beat up. It's not hard getting beat up.
we did this one drill. I didn't do it when I was a coach, but our coach was like crazy old school. He just called it senseless beating of a defenseless wrestler. And you just like put your hands behind your back and your partner just like beats the crap out of your head.
That's valid. No, I've done that. No, that's valid. That's valid.
So you did that one too, Ollie?
That's a valid drill.
He learned it from somewhere. It's so
Hands
stupid.
behind your back, and then somebody's just going like collar ties, working on
collar
you.
ties.
Well, I can see like pulling on them, so you learn to use your back and your neck.
Yeah,
but
you don't just
hit them.
Well, I mean that's a part
Christian
of it
said
too.
they got to hit them.
I mean, you're just clubbing the crap out of him. You didn't punch him in the
It's
face.
snap downs and clubs because sometimes clubs help set up the snap.
And your
downs.
hands are behind your back. And
Yeah.
the drill was literally called the senseless beating of a defenseless wrestler.
That's
So
a great name for it.
that-
But I've done that drill, and it was kind of rough because I would do it with our heavyweights, and they were a lot bigger than me because they were real heavyweights, and I was a lot smaller because I was just that fat heavyweight, and then lost weight as a coach. So then, like, I had these giant kids beating up on my head, and I don't know why I did it. Now that I think about it, I don't know why I, as the coach, would do it. But yeah, it's a good drill, solid drill. Everybody do it at home.
I won't out which college it was, but one of my high school athletes that went to college. This is the greatest ever. He said the coach said, it was an assistant coach, said, you guys are doing terrible at head fighting and you need to do more head fighting. And he made them put their hands behind their back and they had to head fight each other. What do you think happened? He said 3 people split their eye open.
Yeah.
And then they ended the drill.
Man.
I definitely would have thought that drill would work.
Who could have predicted such an outcome? JD, give us a sense. What's the schedule? We have a very busy schedule this weekend. Get the people up to speed.
Yeah. So your Regan's already going on. They did the 3 lightest weights late last night or early this morning. I suppose that goes on the next couple days. U23 starts today, this morning with Greco. And then freestyle starts tomorrow through the quarters, semis, and finals on Saturday. Pan-Ams start today. Greco today. Greco and women's tomorrow. Women's and freestyle on Saturday. Just 79 and 92 for freestyle, though. And then the rest of the weights are Sunday. And then NHSCA duels Saturday, Sunday, and Monday.
Holy cow. And you are going to?
I will be at the duels.
Beach
Virginia
boy.
Beach. That's right. Spay and me are going to soak up the sun.
Wow.
In the Virginia Beach Sports Complex.
You'll get some sun.
A little bit.
Duels are cool because you can go to, catch, because they break it up with like all the elite.
And like that's the point. It's like, oh yeah, come here with your family or whatever and get a nice little beach vacation. Your family gets a beach vacation and guys get a couple good matches. So,
Whoa!
I can't believe Ben won't
Win-win-win.
put a Ben, do you even like the beach?
Ben hates the beach. Hates sand. What's your opinion on sand?
There's sharks there. So
No.
I'll go to the beach. Won't go to the ocean. Won't go to the ocean.
Who told you about the sharks there?
You really won't?
There's sharks, guys. I'm only up to maybe my knees or something. I don't go past that because
Wait,
sharks in the ocean.
is that
The
real?
Shark's house.
You're really scared
I
of
mean,
sharks?
listen, I've done it a few times, especially if there's like a lot of people out there. But like, if you should go by yourself and swim out in the ocean, nah, I'm out. Ain't gonna do it. The sharks out there.
there's somewhere in between going out and swimming by yourself in the ocean and just going to the beach and having some fun.
Wait,
I'll
is it
go
though,
up
like-
to like my maybe mid thigh, but you go deeper than that, the shark might get you.
And this is all oceans? You feel like that?
Well, it's all oceans. There are sharks, Ollie.
Well, I'm just saying, if you go into
Except when I was in Thailand. When I was in Thailand, the guy said very clearly, there are no sharks that will eat you here. I Googled it. He was right. So I said, okay, we're cool. I go in the ocean here.
I just think that's kind of wild, man.
Christian's
Like,
Googling it now.
There's probably not. Well, never mind.
That's interesting. Yeah. There have been no recorded fatal shark attacks in Thailand on scuba
Boom,
divers or
see?
swimmers.
So when I was in Thailand, no sharks eat you. I'll go in the ocean. Sounds like a great time. Sharks can eat me. I stay out of the ocean. Simple.
Man. All right.
What about New York? Will you go to the beach in New York? I think the last recorded shark fatality was 1878.
I don't know. I saw Jaws. That's all
Wow.
close.
That was supposed to be, I think, from a beach in Jersey. So yeah, don't go there, I guess. But there's no sharks out there, man. You'll be okay.
What are you talking about? There's no sharks out there.
I think there's sharks out there, but if you go swimming on the beach, it's probably a very small shot that you're getting bit up by a shark.
Yeah. There's probably a better shot. I don't know. I don't even know what there's a better shot of. I just think it's unlikely. But you know what, Ben? I don't blame you. I understand. All right. Yes. We got the rundown from JD.
All that live on FloWrestling.org.
.edu.
.gov.
You know what I don't like? I don't like how international tournaments, I do not like sharks, they string it over like 4 days. Like, guys, these are like 12-person brackets. It's only like a total of 300 competitors. Like, does it really need to be 4 days long?
Well, the gender or styles is what is kind of dragging these.
No, I'm saying everybody. Everybody. All of the brackets is like 300 and some people.
Yes.
So you say do all the tournaments one day?
Maybe like 2 days. Maybe you run some prelims in the morning, and then you put some semifinals looking, spread them out a little bit. And then the next day you run the finals or place matches, something like that.
You could absolutely do Pan-Ams in 2 days. Full thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Easy.
Yeah. I would like that. All right, let's go to some questions.
Q's from F's.
From Stringer's burner phone. If the University of Missouri didn't exist, where would Ben Askren have gone to college?
Hofstra.
That's tough. I probably would. You know where I probably would have ended up? Maybe Northern Iowa.
Wow. Really?
Maybe Northern Iowa. Probably there or Edinburgh would have been the other one. That would have been, yeah.
Were they both on you?
So, yeah. So my final visits were Arizona State, Edinburgh, Michigan, Wisconsin, Missouri. What didn't I say?
UNI in Edinburgh.
UNI. Okay, yeah. Those are my final visits. And Wisconsin didn't really offer me any money. Arizona State, I thought they partied too much. Michigan, I felt I just didn't feel a connection there. Missouri was obviously where I felt the most connection. Yeah, so probably would have been Northern Iowa or Edinburgh.
Dang. You'd have been, Edinburgh. That would have been interesting if you had gone there. That's a what if. 'Cause think of those.
That was the big knock for both of those towns for me was I just didn't want to go to a small town. They're both kind of like really small towny feeling,
Yeah.
And I just, Columbia's like that next step up where, what town is it? Edinburgh in? I'm blanking right now. It's right outside Erie. I don't remember what the town name is.
Outside of Erie, but
small town.
Yes.
Is it called Edinburgh?
I thought it was called Edinburgh.
Okay,
Edinburgh.
maybe it is.
Yes, it is called Edinburgh.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
The city that Edinburgh is in is actually Edinburgh.
Edinburgh, perfect. Yeah, it's really small town, and Columbia is 120,000. That was a little more kind of where I wanted to be at.
That makes sense. Was Minnesota never in the mix?
They never called me. No.
Oh, Minnesota.
J-Rob never called.
Jeez, J-Rob.
What could have been?
Mm-hmm.
That's a whoopsie. All right.
That's a chunky.
That's a chunky. All right. From Jeffrey Iredell. With the U.S. government advising U.S. citizens not to travel to Japan, will they allow the U.S. Olympic team travel to Tokyo? Absolutely. Shoot, I just bought my ticket to Tokyo.
You're going?
What? You did?
I did. So
You're gonna
I
quarantine?
know they might be kind of strict on coaches and training partners, though. Some of the guys in their the interviews with Bader and Andy at Pan-Am camp were like, Yeah, we still don't really know the full situation about Tokyo. Like there's a
Really?
chance it's like the six guys, um, and not even like their own personal coaches, just
Dang.
Zadig and the
Wow.
handful of Team USA coaches.
Man, if it's like that, I don't know why I would be able to go. They're not letting training partners go. That's way more essential than certainly me. I don't think it's going to come to that. I think they're bracing for the worst, but the situation in Japan has got to get better. You have to assume, and that's the issue right now. It's like obviously things are trending.
They're trending back down. They were
Spiking hard.
spiking and they peaked like 2 weeks ago and have been starting to come back down.
It's so funny. So Sion, he went to Japan. It was like a lifelong dream for him. He went to Tokyo like in 2017 or 18. And I was like, what do you think? He's like, it was great. He said, but that place would not survive a zombie apocalypse. He's like, it's too much close together.
Yes.
He's like, it's crazy. It's like you're walking everywhere you go. It's just like shoulder to shoulder with people. So certainly that is not ideal with the pandemic situation. But hopefully as vaccines are more and more available. I feel like I don't know anyone that's tried to get a vaccine
That can't get
that
it.
can't
yeah.
get it. Like who's in America? Like I don't know
I've
any.
heard it's opposite. I've heard they can't give them away. Like there's too
like,
many.
people are trying. I even heard that there was some part like when it was harder to get a vaccine here in Austin, like you could go out to like some of the more rural areas or just further out, and they were like, "Hey, we have these that are going to expire if we don't give them out
Yes.
soon. So please take them."
Yeah, that was true. So we've got them. We got a lot here. Actually, Flo did a vaccine clinic yesterday for the employees, which is cool. So we're thankful to be in that position, right? And hopefully Japan can get there too. But I think they'll be able to go. I think the Olympics are going to go off. Maybe there are more restrictions that'll come, and it is soon for sure. But I think they're past the point of no return.
Yes.
It's gonna happen. How does the 2021 men's freestyle Olympic team do against the 2016 Olympic team? Well, this is an interesting question. So why don't we start it?
Today.
What'd you say?
I feel we had it in the dock for a few days.
We did, but then I don't think we ever talked about it.
My initial feeling was 2021, and after looking at it, I kind of feel like 2016.
Okay, so let's do it.
It's whiteboard wore it out.
Whiteboard wore it out. So 57 kilograms. We've got Hawkeyes. We've got Thomas Gilman versus Daniel Dennis. I think the edge would go to Gilman in this situation,
I agree.
just given what he's already accomplished internationally. He's a guy that's been in the mix.
So remember in the Dennis film when he was beating Dennis up?
That's one of the best parts. Like, how about Gilman beating the crap
he just
out of
says
him?
it. Yeah,
You guys
yeah.
see that? Yeah, Dan's awesome. He's so very candid. Checks his ego there. But yeah, so I think it would be Gilman. 65 is interesting because, well, we didn't qualify 65 in 2021. And
Or 16, sort of.
Yeah.
or 16 sort of, but we got him in, and then he got fifth. And
So it's
he
kind of...
Yeah.
and he also beat Gadziev at the Olympics.
But I
But-
believe Jo is, he's like 2-0 against Molinaro?
Molinaro has
That
beaten him.
was 2016 Olympics.
Yeah, but if
Molinaro.
like we're getting 2016 Olympic Frank, I might give edge Frank.
I am.
I think so. I think you do.
Yes.
I
Listen,
think you have to. He took
Frank-
fifth. He almost medaled.
people may not like this, but Frank has been our best rep that we've had since
Yes.
Phil. I mean, literally,
Yeah.
you look at it's not just he got fifth. It's like he beat some dudes along the way.
It was
He
this
beat a
close
lot.
to medaling.
Yes, and he was right there to medal. I mean, he was like an inch away just getting that knee down against Chimizo. So I think you go, even though in the head-to-head battle, Jo does have the advantage. There's no disputing that.
Yeah.
And even in 2017, Jo beat him. But that being said, that 4 or 5 month stretch of Frank was
Lights out.
lights out.
Yeah. I agree.
Okay, now 74 is interesting. I think Dake versus Burroughs. We've been there before.
Well, so
are we
yeah.
getting if Olympic JB?
that's
That's a good point.
Olympic
And
JB.
they
Didn't look his best.
So I think based on what we've seen from Dake, and also Dake beat a version of Burroughs that I think is still super, super duper high level, right? Like I don't think
Yeah.
2016,
Yeah,
2016
Burroughs is that much
Burroughs
better.
versus 2021 Burroughs, that's not some
It's
like
competitive.
huge drop off. So I think
No,
when you consider all those things, it's Dake.
Yeah, there's probably a bigger change between 16 Dake and now Dake than 16 Burroughs and now Burroughs. You get what I'm saying?
Well said.
Thank you.
Completely agree.
Yes.
So are we unanimous?
I could see
21
giving
Dake?
it to yeah. I mean,
Good dynamite.
especially if I said we're picking the tournament Frank Molinaro, if we pick the tournament JB, I think it's hard to argue in his favor over Dake.
Certainly. Certainly true. Now 86 is another interesting one because it's Jaden Cox versus David Taylor. And we've seen this one play out too.
Seen it play out. So I feel like you're almost
But
obligated
are
to pick
we
Jaden Cox
taking into
because you've
account
seen it so many
improvements
times.
David Taylor has made since last time.
But we haven't seen those improvements against Jaden Cox, and
That's
he
also true.
went 4-4. He went 4-4 with Gabe Dean, and Jaden Cox at weight class was just so good. I mean, even the match he lost was 1-1. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see him against Sadulayev, which would have been the real is he really really that great? But man, he was so good at the tournament that year, and given his track record against David, I feel like you got to pick him.
Man. But the other interesting dynamic is David is the hands down favorite to win 86, whereas Jaden wasn't because Sadulayev was there. And Jaden, to a small degree, I think we all thought this guy can medal. Going into the tournament after he qualified the weight, after his Beat the Streets performance, after him making the team, we're like, absolutely he can medal and do really well. So remember, that was his first senior team.
Yes.
But so how do you weigh those? The fact that he's the favorite and Jaden wasn't.
I don't think I weigh that because I think we're talking in this specific scenario. We're talking a head-to-head matchup.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking, well, like with the Dake and Burroughs, obviously we picked Dake because it was the Burroughs at the tournament, which obviously was, didn't have his best tournament ever, probably his worst tournament ever actually. And then
in this scenario, Jaden
we've
knows
seen-
the rules.
Ooh, low blow.
Probably not. Maybe not. Yeah, but so I think there was a clear reason that you could pick Dake, and in this situation, I don't think there's a very clear reason why you would just say, well, David's going to beat him this time.
Yeah, I mean, okay. All right, let's say this. Imagine a scenario: Dake or Taylor goes through 86, smashes everyone, Olympic champion. How do we look at this differently, if at all? Or is it just the fact that Jaden beat him, he was better then, and so are you saying Jaden for good?
Do you think there's anyone better than Jaden at 86 kg right now? Because I think you don't think there is.
I don't think there is, no.
So that's why it's hard, because there's no one that's as good as Jaden at 86.
Dang.
I mean, we did watch David have a 4-4 match
like
with Jordan, and he had a 4-4 match with not a 4-4, but 6-4 with Dean. So he's had those two really close matches.
Listen, I mean,
He won.
Jaden is not a stranger to some. He had close ones with Zilmer, which I think would be equivalent to Dake. He had close ones with. I mean, Bo Nickel's amazing, but he wasn't blowing him out of the water. I don't ding him for that. Also, it's not that.
But you ding David for that because David tries to 10-point people, and sometimes you feel like, well, Jaden doesn't really try to 10-point him. He just wants to beat him 3-0 and be happy.
Yes, that's a fact. But I guess, all right, circling back to 86, it's not that Jaden was undefeated. He lost to international guys at 86.
Yeah.
He lost to Makoev and Yassar, I think was his loss at the Olympics. So it's not like he was only losing to Sadulayev when he was there.
Yeah.
And I don't think we would ever pick David to lose to those guys, right? I think we would be stunned, in fact, if he lost to them, right?
Yeah. Yeah. But head to head.
But it's head to head. So Jaden.
Brian Hellickson did make a point comparing them before the 21 teams extra rest of the Olympics is kind of goofy. I feel like that's a little like I feel like we should wait, but why not? We're already 2/3 the way through it, so I guess we might as well just continue.
We can talk about it after as well.
Again.
2016 Snyder versus
Snyder versus
2021 Snyder.
Before we move on, go back and listen to Jaden's interview with Bader in the sauna about him making weight in 2016.
Yeah.
Good. In 2017. He had some tough cuts to make 86.
No doubt. Big man. Okay, 97 Snyder versus Snyder. What to do?
Man, 2016 Snyder won Olympic gold. I feel like I lean to him unless this one wins gold. I don't know.
He also didn't have Sadulayev in his weight class.
Yeah,
then.
I mean, if he only loses to Sadulayev, I'd say.
But remember how good? What was the Russian dude's name? How good was that dude?
Boltikayev was a fraud.
Ooh.
Yeah, one.
No,
Breaking out the F
screw-
word.
That was their guy.
I'm thinking of 15. What was the guy in 15's name?
Oh, Gadisov.
Yeah, he was good.
The not,
Yeah.
I mean, he was
not
obviously
fraudulent.
he was on the sauce. Also, obviously, yeah, he was fraudulent. Yeah, I'm sure he was on the sauce.
Didn't he have the
he
giant
was really
traps that
good.
came up to like his forehead?
He looked
Gadisov was
Piles-esque, they say.
Mm-hmm.
He was really good, but Boltikayev was like just like a dude, and then all of a sudden he's up 30 pounds bigger, and he's like he beats Kyle in a weird match.
He was
It's
on
like,
the super shot.
and then
Okay, hold on 1 second.
What?
I'm getting a picture of Gadisov.
We've
I'll
got
put
it. We've
in
got
the-
it.
No, I got the one that we need to put in.
Red
Okay,
singlet?
Yes.
Yes.
Tell me you're trying. Are we pulling it up?
Yes, we're pulling it up.
And you trying to tell me this dude ain't on the sauce?
I'm
gonna get on the
Blaze
sauce,
Cabell
man.
once beat him.
Blaze Cobble did once beat him. You and I legend.
Oh,
That's right.
Yeah,
Where's
you
this
gotta see this guy. Yeah, Gadisov was
guy's-
he was out. I thought he was
Okay.
he was
That
a
was
really good
2015.
wrestler though. Boltikayev was just like Gadisov
Neat.
had like legit wins and like beat a lot of guys.
Bolton
Boltikayev was
Kai
like
had a cartwheel
flash-
he could do.
bolt wheel. Look at this dude.
Look at that dude. Come on. All natural my ass.
I don't even think anyone would say that.
I should get on some
As I'm
cycles,
wearing
man.
the Drago shirt.
Yeah, yeah, you're on the juice too. What? Yeah, Ollie.
Ben, what do you know about? You know any good steroids guys? You could give me their number. Not on the show.
I'm
We
sure
don't
I
wanna
can
get
find
arrested.
him.
Did anyone ever hit you up? Be
I
like,
think-
hey man, you looking to get a little edge?
No one ever hit me up.
No one ever hit you up. They knew they're barking up the wrong tree.
Well, yeah, I guess they saw him. They're
Yeah.
like, this guy.
I mean,
doesn't
I
really
would-
know it.
Yeah, I would. I mean, I think it's probably one of those things where people don't solicit, and if you want to go get it, you just gotta, figure out the right places to go. Is what I would guess.
Well,
And you're not putting out steroid vibes either.
I'll hook you up.
Well, that's the whole point.
Nice.
I think that I feel like that would be, I don't know. I feel like if you're a famous fighter, you get some hangers-ons and or people that try to cling to your success and sell you stuff and get you involved in
No,
opportunities, whatever. Did you avoid all the seedy people pretty well?
all of them. Yeah.
Good job.
All of them.
Okay. And
All right.
So we're
Which
taking
Kyle are you
2016.
taking? Kyle 16 or 20? I think we're taking 2016 until
2016
2021.
Kyle.
2016 Kyle Brackey.
Give me 2021.
Ooh.
Whoa.
Why?
He's feeling it.
I don't think Snyder's past his prime. I think he's improved in the past 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you put it like that, it's hard to argue against. Like, I'm gonna guess that
Yes,
he's gotten a little
it
bit better and not worse.
Like, you're literally just saying if he goes and looks terrible at the Olympics, then obviously you have to change it up. But I'm just saying, wrestled 10 matches between Kyle Snyder 5 years ago and 10 matches between Kyle Snyder today. And I think that Kyle Snyder today wins most of those matches.
Yeah, maybe so.
Imagine we could really do that. That would be nuts. Just get Kyle Snyder
That would be
wrestling
awesome.
against Kyle Snyder.
That'd be great.
No, if we could do that though, Ollie, think about what we could do. We could pick any wrestlers from any era. We would have the biggest flow cards ever. I mean, think we're going 1987 John Smith versus 96 Tom Brands. Like, I'm so in.
Versus like 2020 Joey Silva. Get all those guys in a little round robin.
And Jacory.
You're fired.
Crap.
You're fired.
That stinks.
Yeah, we just got to figure out time travel.
Yeah.
Or cloning.
Who's on that?
Oh, cloning is an interesting thing. Ben, you know any cloners?
That's already kind of a thing.
Yeah, it's
No.
already.
Maybe Logan Stieber world champion versus John Smith, 1987.
That'd be a lot of points.
That'd be yeah.
Maybe a crazy
so fun.
comeback. Cardiac Kid Logan was going nuts that tournament.
Yeah, he was. Giving us all palpitations.
Murmurs.
Okay, and then 2021 Gable versus 2016 Tervel. This
Gable. Tervel wasn't healthy.
he was not healthy.
No.
Dude, this peak Tervel versus like peak Gable would be
That's fun.
that would
Who
be
do you
amazing.
pick though?
Oh my gosh.
How do you not pick Pete Gable? You know,
I don't know.
Yeah,
how do
I
you
think
not?
I go
We've never
Gable.
seen domination like that on that weight class level. At least I haven't in my generations. Like,
Yeah. Gable.
Next
looks
level.
so
What year
good.
was peak
I think he's
Tervel,
winning the
like-
Olympics.
Yeah, I do too. Peak Tervel, I mean
2012, 2013.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there.
12, 13, 14. He beat what year did he beat? He beat Tazimov. He
Let's
beat
see. So we got 3 bronzes: 2009, 2012, and 2014.
Yeah, I think which
He,
year did
he
he
won
beat?
the Medven in 2013. Won silver at the Krasny Ivan Urigan 2012. He was good for a while.
Yeah. I still think I got to take Pete Gable.
yeah, you gotta take Pete Gable. You've never seen
For
anything
sure.
like it.
Yeah, he's ridiculous.
He is absolutely ridiculous. All right.
And this is a little different because they're so close together, but anytime it's like an era wrestler versus an era wrestler, I almost always pick the most recent and the later era. Like, sports and athletes as a whole just get better as time goes on.
Yes.
Yes. I agree. Okay. What year did he beat Tazimov? 11? Must have been 11.
Let's see. I'm on his bio right here. He lost to Akul. That was 2014. Semi. It's not anything about him beating.
he beat him. He beat him in 11.
He's okay. It doesn't say that on.
And then
you correct his Wikipedia.
Tazimov Tamazov.
Popped.
Sorry. I'm putting a Z.
That's who
not
popped
there.
in 2012 that allowed or got him his bronze, correct?
Man, he should have popped, I think, all times.
All times. Well, I think he did pop twice. Tamazov is another one where you're like, okay, we should put a picture of him up. Like, this is ridiculous. Human beings don't look like that. He should have popped.
Yeah. But it's hard. The cheaters are often ahead of the testers. So, okay, so that's
Hold on.
that's
Can we do one more picture?
yeah, of course.
You can look
Yeah,
at all
I'll
the
put it-
pictures of the steroid guys.
I'll
Yeah.
put it in the doc.
Let's get Ronnie
I just-
Coleman involved.
Threw in the doc, right above questions for friends.
Yes. He's the giant. I guess they really pop in the red singlets here. These pictures. My gosh.
Makes him look more steroidy.
Yes, it does. Okay, let's look at some other questions while we pull up the King Arthur picture. Okay. A lot of Bracky related things. Someone wants to know if Ben will buy Bracky's house and finally start an AWA in Austin.
Maybe not right now. Maybe eventually though. I probably wouldn't move.
When are you gonna send some? Oh, here's Tamazov. Look at this guy.
So
Sheesh.
ridiculous.
Oh my gosh.
The
All
singlet's
natural,
ripping
sure.
just from
Yeah.
like how they should get him a proper size singlet.
You ever wrestle any heavyweights that look like that, Ollie?
Honestly, it was funny. My mom was telling this story. No, he didn't look like this. But I remember I was in like 10th grade, and I'm wrestling this kid, I think it was Graziano from Jericho. And I knew it was bad because my coach goes like this. He would never say this, but like would always be the kind of coach who would preach this type of messaging, but never said it directly to me before the match. He goes, "It's all right, Ollie. Doesn't matter how big he is. You go out and get after him." And I'm like, well, you never said that before. So now it kind of seems like it matters how big he is.
Yeah.
And then we had gone out, and then he was so big and jacked. And then my mom told me afterwards that all the other parents, like, as we were entering the mat, they're like, sorry, like, if you don't want to watch, we'll tell you how it goes. Like, he's going to be okay. And he gave me a good whooping, but I thought I fought tough. I think I maybe held up and didn't give up the major, and I even got a reversal, but it was one of those kinds of reversals where, they're like letting you out and they're cutting you loose from bottom. But I turned around real fast and grabbed his ankle and held on for dear life and just ran at him because I didn't want to get taken down and hurt again. So it was more of self-preservation rather than wanting to win. But yeah, I've wrestled a few guys like that.
Nice.
Awesome.
The tails.
I've also wrestled a guy that looks kind of similar to that, and also did the junk grabbing move. And dirty wrestler.
Dirty wrestling, you don't like that.
Yeah, you don't.
No, I'm all for dirty wrestling.
You don't like
I
tough
wasn't even
wrestling.
mad. I wasn't mad at him because I was like, you know what? If I'm not gonna snitch.
You want to grab my junk? You want to grab my junk?
You're gonna grab my junk, man. Grab the junk. It is what it is.
All right.
Oh, Ollie. Well,
a lot about
it's
Ollie.
illegal. Don't grab the junk.
No, I'm not saying to do it. I'm just saying sometimes you got to fight through some junk grabbing.
Yes, no doubt.
Rubbin's racing.
Oh my gosh. Not necessarily a question, but an interesting fact. USA's junior world rep at 74 has won the last 3 times. All 3 won NCAAs afterwards. Mark Hall 17, Mekhi Lewis 18, and Carr won in 19, and then he won NCAAs the next year. So, ipso facto,
There we go.
Keegan O'Toole, world champ. Keegan O'Toole, NC2A wrestling champ.
That'd be nice. You know what this question made me think of? Was how good we've been at 74 kg. Just historically, and then how much struggle we've had at 65. It's so crazy to me because these are like, I would say these are both the most normal sized people. 145, 163. Like that's right in the middle. That's how big people are a lot of times,
Yes.
Not small, not too big, right in the middle. And as a country, America, we had so much success at 74 over the history, and 65 has just not been there. It's so crazy.
I know. There should need to be a chapter in Outliers about why this has happened. Someone explain to me what has happened here.
Inexplainable.
Okay, so I only am going to ask this question because of Ollie, because I really learned on Saturday night what a tremendous fan of WWF wrestling he was when we were playing poker together.
Really?
And our guy Sears put on like Royal Rumbles in the background.
It was such a classic one too.
No, that's all Sears does now is just watch 90s WWF, and he takes those ideas and applies them to Who's Number One.
I will also say this. You know what?
genius.
I was kind of offended. Ben, you listen to this. You remember every time I mentioned WWF type stuff, CP would kind of dunk on me, call me like a nerd and like a loser. It's like, no, I grew up. I don't like that stuff anymore. But the minute Mr. Cool Michael Sears puts it on, he loves it. He's drinking it up. The Royal Rumble, what? Stone Cold driving back in an ambulance. This is crazy. But when I liked it, it was nerdy and stupid, and now he's all about it. Yup. Well, I noticed this switch up.
That's not what happened at all. I did not at any point think it was cool. But I did laugh a lot at it.
He thought it was so cool. He went and bought a Stone Cold T-shirt on Amazon.
Go ahead,
Ben.
Oh, I made my wife watch Andre the Giant vs. Hulk Hogan because it was classic American folklore.
That's right.
I understand that. No, I think I might have been the only kid at Churchville Elementary that didn't have an Austin 316 shirt. I mean, it was just like the school uniform. Everyone was wearing these shirts in elementary and middle school. It was insane.
I remember there was a meme that was like everybody got in trouble for doing this in elementary school or middle school, and it was like the DX doing the suck it thing.
Yeah.
And then
that was big.
One of the girls I went to elementary school with was like, I remember at Oliver Stone doing this nonstop and always got in trouble for it.
So
walking around.
The question was, if you could be WWF superstars, what would be each of your names? Well, let's just do Ollie's. I don't have a name. Maybe Ben has a name.
I would do something with the bear.
Okay.
The Bodacious Bear.
Bodacious Bear. Okay.
Something like that. Ollie the Bear or something. What would you guys name me?
I like that. Bodacious Bear. That's got a nice
Furry Fury, maybe?
Ooh, that would be my finisher move.
Go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the Furry Fury. Yeah, I'm all about that.
The finisher move. Okay, that's great. This one dude just asked like 5 or 6 Bracky related questions, which I just think is funny. He wants a Bracky flow film, a montage. He says Bracky to Stanford. These are all different tweets. Best of Bracky. He said Bracky's contractually obligated to give at least one Mothman update a year. He wants to get him to come back for that. Mountaineer monthly. Yeah, this guy is just really like processing the Bracky departure in a very specific way. This is Connor for real.
Hey, how mad do I make Oklahoma State fans? This guy Lee, he's so mad at me for that comment about Oklahoma State getting in-state tuition.
Yeah, he says it's been known that Wisconsin, Minnesota, Illinois, Michigan all have a quote gimmick where students from one of those states can get in-state tuition at any public university, or that Mizzou is in fact easier to get into than Oklahoma State.
Why
no
did
way
you
that's
say
Take
true.
that, Ben.
Well, he's a huge
There's no
Oklahoma
way.
State fan.
Dunk on
There's no
you,
way
Ben?
that's true.
Egg on your face.
Wisconsin and Minnesota have reciprocity where they can do in-state, but it's only to one state. It's not just they just can't get kids from anywhere, to my understanding. Yeah, Oklahoma State, you get some good grades, you get down there, in-state tuition. Listen, I don't think it's a knock. I think it's tremendous. I wish if I was coaching a college program, I would want to coach somewhere they had that thing.
Yeah, it's good. It's not a bad thing.
But Stillwater is also not an intellectual hub. Just that's the bottom line.
That's your opinion.
Deal with it.
The
Lee.
wrestling intellectual hub.
You could argue that for sure, but not just a academic institution.
Okay. Well, with that, it is go time. It's 9:23, deep in the heart of Texas. We hope you guys have a great weekend watching wrestling. There's so much to watch live on Flow. Safe travels to the Flow boys that are going to be hitting the road soon. We'll be back Tuesday. Hope everyone has a great Memorial Day. Thanks to all the troops out there that have served. Special thanks to John Michael Zach, our hero.
Shout out
Heroes.
JMZ.
Shout out
Best bud.
JMZ.
Love you.
He maybe will move here someday. I don't know.
This weekend he's doing the move.
Let's go.
So I
Ben's
hear.
gone again. Look
Look
at
at that.
him.
Look at his dumb face.
Look at him. He did it again. Look at him. Now it's all right.
Let's
fine.
make a shirt out of that.
Yeah, there's the shirt with the communist Russia on it. All right, thanks guys. See ya.
Peace.